Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video we're gonna be talking about my favorite opening in chess, and since this is my first chess video in my channel, I'm gonna be showing you a special game which I have played with a way more rating opponent than me, and I won. So without any further ado, let's get started. This opening is called the Max Lange Attack. This is a very sneaky attack opening where the opponent will not be able to understand what's gonna happen, what move you're gonna play, and we're gonna be taking help of the master's database over here as well, which will show us which move has been played a lot, and when we will analyze our way through that. So the my favorite opening starts with e4, and then black responds with e5, and now the most common opening, the most common move after this is knight f3. But we're not gonna be playing knight f3. Instead, we're gonna be playing the second most common opening, which is bishop c4. Now black is now the most common response is again shows that it is knight f6. But if black is not paying attention or tries to play in a different way, the third most common opening is bishop c5. Here you can see that this is the bishop's opening classical defense, and the position is remains symmetrical. This does not work well for black, as white can move at d4, can be always played first. Since the wiki book says that, let's go for d4. And now black can respond in different ways. Black can respond with bishop takes or pawn takes. For the sake of this sneaky opening working, let's just go with pawn takes. And now we should always be looking, even if this opening does not work out, we should always be looking at this f7 square, because this square is only guarded by the king. And when you take on f7, and if there are no other protectors like knight h6 or even queen e7 or queen f6, then the king will have to come up onto f7. That's why it is told that opening on the f lane is always bad in the in the first opening of the game. So now, if pawn takes, then it is a good move to sacrifice our bishop on f7. So we do that, and now it's a check. Now the king has many moves. He can move here, or he can just take the bishop. But since the king is anyways has to give up his castling rights after he moves, well, it'll be no use if you don't kill a bishop for that, losing the castling rights. So the most common move, as you can see, is king takes bishop f7. Now, now this is the best move. This is where the actual moves come out. Now you bring your queen out to h5, giving a check to the king and an attack on the bishop. Now black can respond in many ways now as well. Here, 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 here. But the best move for black to do right now, since he has already fallen for the trap, is g6, blocking the check. And now you just take the bishop. It's a free bishop. And now the most common move, the master's database, I checked it, the most common move in beginner to intermediate level, after this is knight c6. Why knight c6? Well, before knight c6, if another move would have been played, like let's just say d5 d6, then you would capture the d4 square and exposing a direct attack on the rook, and nothing can be done except for knight f6, where if the opponent is not paying attention, yeah, it is a direct attack on the rook. So the most common move for the any person in the games played in beginner to intermediate level is knight c6. Now you you already you're leading by a couple of points, or not leading by any points at all, you're even, so you just want to even it out a bit and play knight f3. Now the opponent may think that you're just adding pressure on the d4 square, but this knight is going to be way more important than you think it is. And also, if the opening does not work out, you have the castling rights. You can castle, put your king to safety as well. And most of your pieces have already been developed. The bishop can move. The knight can also move if you capture or play c3. No, knight can move here, and the rook can move if you choose to castle queenside. Now, the most common move again played in black from beginner to intermediate level now is, if you play knight f3, is d6. Now white has fallen, black has fallen completely for this trap, and if white plays the correct couple of moves, it will win the game no matter what happens. So now the best move to do here is queen d5. Now you might have noticed that if if you play if you play d6 over here, it unleashes the bishop as well to wreak a lot of havoc. Now, if you play queen d5 check, then you're like, the black will be like, oh well, the whole reason I played the whole reason I played d6 is to open the bishop, so I'll just put that here. And now you just go in with the full force of the attack. Now your queen's under attack, but your main objective is for the king. So you play, after the bishop e6, now you play knight g5. Now the most best move to prevent any checkmate threat happening would be to actually sacrifice your queen to take the knight. But most players would not like to sacrifice their queen just for a knight, so they choose to go for a much alternative response. So now you can see that my rating is very high. The king is out, my king is safe. The black king is out, my king is safe, and there are many more checkmate options that are coming in these couple of squares. Now, let's just say that they don't choose to sacrifice the queen. Let's just say that they go for something like, um, again, the most common move here would be king e7. And now this bishop here has no protectors, so we'll just take the bishop, and the king has only one square to move now, which is here, and this is checkmate. Now let's explore a few more alternatives that the king might do. Here, what if the king moves to g7? Well, then you can either capture with the knight or you can capture with the queen. I will choose to capture with the knight, and the king can move many squares here. Or let's just say that I capture with the queen. Now the king has many squares to move, and black's main objective would be to get the king to safety. Not just this is the rare the stockfish level 8 is showing that this is the best move, but the if you are playing in beginner rating or intermediate rating, the most of the players would play king to h6. This, by the way, kings to h6 is a horrible move, since you can play knight to knight to f7, and it is on check, not by the it's on check by the knight and the bishop. Now the king can move here. We'll explore this alternative move as well. But let's just think that the king moves here. Now if we move our queen here, it's a check, and the king can only block with this move, and the checkmate threat comes here, which is checkmate. Now let's just think that the king moves towards the one. Now let's just say that if knight captures and the king moves here. Now you can either take the queen and be in a huge material lead, or you can go for the checkmate threat. You can take the queen if you want to bully white for some time, or you can go for the checkmate threat here. The most common move for intermediate is here, so we'll move it there, here, and the only legal move is here. And don't ever forget the sniper bishop over here. So you move your king here. Now you can either block with this pawn, or the king can move forward. Let's check again. Let's check both opportunities. Let's just check both moves. Let's go with the king first. Here, then you pull your queen down. The only move that the king has left to do is h4, and you play h4. This is just made. Now let's just think that the pawn blocks the check. Now your main focus should be on this g5 pawn. You have to try to put pressure on that pawn. How do you put pressure? And also, while putting the pressure on this g5 pawn, you have to also activate a discover attack. You can do that by playing h4. Do this, and no matter what black does now, it will just be a checkmate. So if the most common response here again would be knight e5, so then you just take it, and it's checkmate. So this is my favorite opening. We just discovered a lot of moves that will lead to the unfortunate fate of black after you play this amount of couple of moves. And if black falls under this trap, then your game is, well, pretty much you won the game. So as I promised, I'm going to show you a game that I played against a high rating person that I won against. um I don't want to brag, but the rating the accuracy which I achieved in that game is my high score accuracy which I ever got. So here's the game. I played this game with Shriram IQT. Here you can see that my rating, I just put a random name here. My rating is 817, which is pretty low for a 12-year-old. Well, I'm playing with this guy who's 1346 rating. Well, the output is anyways supposed to be that Shriram IQT wins because he's black, by the way. Pieces, these pieces are the opponent, and this is my pieces. So you're supposed to be. You can focus more on the opponent as well, but you can. But this is. I'm just to inform you that this is my gameplay. The black is my gameplay. So Sriram started out with d4. Okay, so before we step into analysis, we'll just quickly run through the game. I'll just play the moves. One second. Blunder. Mistake. This is the last blunder. After he makes this move, the checkmate is unavoidable. Checkmate. Now, Sriram has made one mistake and two blunders, and majority I have been leading you according to the computer analysis. I have been leading by a lot of rating, lot of points, and my average end-point loss is 7, whereas Sriram's is 55. My accuracy is 99%, whereas Sriram's accuracy is 84%. So my accuracy was pretty well. I played pretty well in this game, and due to the high rating player which I played and won, I got plus 100 and 140 rating points. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you later.